Welcome back to GC Squared, the show where we talk about smooth jazz.
Why are you talking like that?
It sounded fun in the moment.
I can't argue with that.
All right, but for real though, hey everyone, welcome back to GC Squared, the show where two friends talk about comic books and video games and sometimes other stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens. As always, I am joined by my co-host Garrett. Now, when Garrett isn't gluing stuff together with a magical hand he found in a cave somewhere, he is a content writer specializing in video game content, specifically game guides and gaming news and other stuff, I imagine.
Yep. Things been good this week. I actually haven't seen too much difference video game-wise. I finished up the Xenoblade DLC, which is nice.
Very nice, very nice. How'd you like it? Like overall, tell me your overall thoughts.
Ooh, okay, yeah. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, had a lot of fun. I feel like the DLC did a good job of taking the best parts of the first of the three games, ignoring Xenoblade Chronicles X apparently, and just kind of combining them together and really taking advantage of those best aspects. So I really enjoyed it. That was really cool. Played a little bit of League of Legends, just usual thing there, just playing matches with people. Try and think if there's anything else I played this week. I don't think there was anything else I really played aside from I think that's pretty much it. Haven't had a chance to play Tears of the Kingdom yet.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. It's like, that's kind of like people are saying it's the biggest game ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it sold, what, in this first weekend, it sold like 500 million copies or something like that. That sounds wrong.
I don't know, but I know it's something crazy.
It sold a lot of copies. 500 million would be ridiculous. That's like a 15th of the world population.
According to Business Wire, 10 million in 3 days.
That's very impressive. Is that just domestically or is that worldwide?
I would assume that's worldwide, but I don't know for sure. I just looked at the headline.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But I need to get around to playing Tears of the Kingdom. I've been writing a lot of articles on the Xenoblade DLC, so that's taken up a good chunk of my time.
Okay. Very good, very good. I guess work didn't give you Tears of the Kingdom then.
No, I didn't get that early, but it's all good. We picked up our own copy, so yeah.
Nice.
I am thinking about selling some of my games I don't really play anymore to pick up a rare, expensive PS1 title, and I may reveal what that game is if I pick it up and play it in the future.
Oh yeah, you should totally let us know, because that's very good. Oh my goodness. Reselling and collecting, that's a whole topic we could dig into.
Oh yeah, we should have that.
Yeah, let's throw that on our magical list of magical things to talk about.
Anyways, and then for my co-host Taylor, when he isn't shooting lasers from his eyes out of anger out of comic books that he dislikes, he works as a social media man doing film for a business.
Yep. I indeed do that. Now I'm trying to expand.
Oh, okay.
Trying to expand a little bit.
And what'd you do comic book wise this past
week?
Right.
So that's what we talk about here, huh?
Yeah.
So I just finished a big video on my channel, and now the next video I want to do, in consideration of the new Spider-Verse movie that's coming out, I wanted to do a big deep dive into Spider-Man 2099. So I've been reading a lot of Spider-Man 2099.
Okay.
Going through the original stories, the original series for it. I was kind of surprised, actually. So I wouldn't have guessed this. Spider-Man 2099 has less comic book appearances than Spider-Girl does.
Oh, that's interesting.
With how popular he is, I would think that he had way more, but from everything I can tell, his first series only had 42 issues in it. And then he had a second series that only had 20 something, and then a third that only had 20 something. And then he shows up in crossovers, but yeah, like he honestly doesn't have as many comic book appearances as you'd probably expect him to, with how
Huh.
popular he is.
That's really interesting.
I think the trade-off there is that he's appeared in almost every Spider-Man video game since his creation. So that probably offsets that a bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Even if he's not there directly, like he is in Edge of Time or Shattered Dimensions, his costume is there to play with. But yeah,
Yeah, true.
It's 2099. It's a dystopian future where corporations have taken over the world, and Alchemex is the corporation that basically owns New York City, and he fights for the liberation of people and for independence. So it's kind of neat. Very cyberpunk.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, with a random aside, I guess.
Oh, sure.
Just as a heads up to you, aside from gaming, there were a couple of video game related announcements and stuff this week that are pretty interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see what you've got. What do you have?
All right, so first off, we got the Five Nights at Freddy's movie trailer came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because for anyone that doesn't know, the Jim Henson company is the one that's in charge of the animatronics.
Oh,
And
no
like in the
way.
yeah, so in the trailer and stuff, you can see all of it's done by animatronics, like all the characters animatronics, which is pretty cool.
That's super rad.
Yeah, they went. Yeah, they went with practical effects apparently. And then, other than that, what's really interesting is, Mortal Kombat 11 came out a few years ago, right?
Yeah, I saw the trailer, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, so Mortal Kombat 1 is a thing now.
Yeah, but it's like Mortal Kombat 11. That still feels like a new game in my mind.
Yeah. Well, the reason why they're calling it Mortal Kombat 1 is apparently they're doing a reboot of the story. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought those were pretty interesting, and I thought I'd share them real quick.
Hey, that's worthwhile. That's neat. I think that's a cool idea, sharing some relevant news. Like that's a cool thing that we could probably put into the opening segments.
Yeah, fair enough. I just thought I'd bring them up. So, yeah,
Yeah,
good point. We should mention them more often in the opening segments.
that is a good idea. You're very smart.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I have any comic book news to share right now. Oh,
Okay,
there is maybe one thing.
what's up?
So there was this tweet that a guy made directed at James Gunn saying that if in the new Superman movie, if Superman and Batman have a conversation in costume, sitting in a diner across from each other, and they both talk about how they would have solved each other's problems very quickly, he will eat a pair of shoes. Okay.
Okay.
James Gunn responded and says, "Sounds great. I'll get back to you in a couple of years." So the how it should have ended, like whole shindig, it's looking like that might become canon now. And that's very funny to me.
Huh, interesting.
Like, I think that's the only big thing right now. Everyone's getting really excited about like the new slate of DC movies that are coming out, but we don't really have any big news on that. James Gunn just barely wrapped up Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so I imagine not too much work has been able to get into it by this point anyway.
Gotcha. So, like, do we have any news on which ones they'll be? Like, which movies?
Oh, yeah. A while ago, he had this big, like, it wasn't a live stream, but it kind of felt like a live stream. He had this announcement on DC's YouTube page where he announced what his plans for the next several years are going to be with DC movies. He announced the first big movie that was going to be made is a movie called Superman Legacy. We don't really have any real details about that. Just little blurbs here and there that may or may not actually happen. We don't know any casting. All we know is that the script is finished. Okay. And then There's a Batman movie called The Brave and the Bold, which is supposed to be centered
Mhm.
around Batman and Damian Wayne, his youngest son and the current Robin in the comics.
Mhm.
And then we've got a Supergirl movie. He announced a Supergirl movie, and he said that one is going to be at least loosely based off of the comic titled Woman of Tomorrow, I think it was called.
Okay.
And then he announced a bunch of TV shows and a couple of movies based off of teams and characters that I really don't have any experience with, which is interesting that he's like
Mhm.
going so obscure so early. But I mean, this is the guy who made the Guardians of the Galaxy cool for the first time ever. So someone's going to be mad at me for saying that, but it's true. Like, no one cared until the movie.
Okay, I didn't realize that they had so many films like lined up with DC. That's interesting.
Yeah, the weird thing he's doing, and this one has a lot of people scratching their heads. He said that rather than pulling a Marvel where it's movies and TV shows are connected, he's pulling a Star Wars where everything is connected. Everything is canon. And the same
Okay.
actors are used across the board. So like your the next Batman movie is going to be canon with the next Batman movie, and it's going to be the next. Did I say movie twice? Yeah.
Yeah.
The next Batman movie is going to be canon with the next Batman video game, and it's going to be canon with the next Batman animated TV show. Like everything is connected that way. And
Oh man, that sounds like it's be quite the undertaking.
that it sounds huge, and I don't know how much I like that.
Mhm.
Because like when we had the last slate of DC movies, I felt like the CW provided like a good alternative if you didn't like the movies, and or like back when Nintendo had the Wii U wasn't doing anything, but the 3DS was. So they had like a safety net for that. It's like if this starts to fail, there's no safety net.
I see. Yeah, that puts them in trouble because it kind of it also does a dangerous thing of like kind of forcing people to stay on top and keep track of everything, which can lead to either burnout or if like someone falls behind, they may just be like, "Well, no point joining up," or you have people that may not understand what's going on and then be really confused, things like that.
Yeah, so I think that right there kind of depends on like how interconnected everything is going to be.
Yeah, true.
Like, are the events in the I can't think of what one of them was. He's making a Booster Gold show. Let's go with that. If do the events in Booster Gold, are they integral to understanding what happened to the Batman story that happened 3 years ago? Or, it's like I don't know. But at least at this point, we're pretty sure we're not going to get any what's it called? Any meddling from the studios because James Gunn is the head. There's like no one above him on this.
Okay.
All right. So, hey, let's go ahead and hop into the main topic of what this episode is about. Garrett, this is your show. So go ahead and tell us what that's about.
Okay, so a while back, I watched a YouTube video called by a guy called the Anime Man, where actually he had PewDiePie as a guest star, and they played a game called Real or Fake with anime, where the idea behind it is one of them would give a vague description of an anime, and the other one had to guess if it was a real anime or something they made up. So I figured it would be fun if Taylor and I did the same thing, but with video games and comic books. So I prepared some, and I'll ask if they're real or fake to him, and he'll do the same with me, and we'll just take turns going back and forth. Now, as a quick disclaimer for this real or fake game, one, there may be spoilers about the games that we end up about the games and comics we end up talking about, so keep that in mind. And second thing is the fake ones we came up to our knowledge don't exist. So if there is something with a similar concept that does exist, feel free to let us know.
All right. And with that, you want to go first or me?
I'm fine either way.
Okay. Let's rock, paper, scissors.
Let's try to rock, paper, scissors over voice chat. Here, I'll just pull up a coin flipper. on Google. Pick
Okay,
heads or
heads.
tails. All right, heads. Google says tails, so I guess I'll start.
Okay, ready, set, go.
All right, so real or fake? So here's the first one.
Fake.
Fake.
No, real.
There are two siblings, and one is deaf and blind. They use their psychic powers to experience each other's senses and must work together to escape a castle after being kidnapped.
Okay, that sounds awesome. If I had a friend, I would play the crap out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like Journey, except like more specific.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that this is a real game.
Is that your final answer?
Oh, if you say stuff like that, you're going to make me second guess myself.
Sorry, should I not say stuff like that?
No, I mean you can go ahead. I mean it's for the jokes and it's a thing. All right, yeah, that's my final answer. This is a real game. You can play it on the PS3.
This game is fake.
But why? That sounds great.
I know. So
Like-
what happened? Oh, sorry.
It's like It Takes Two, except not.
Yeah, exactly. This was a game concept where I was inspired by like different games and stuff like Eco, It Takes Two, and I figured there were two approaches you could take to this. So either you could have two players playing online together, or you can make it a single player game where the player must control both at once.
Okay. I can see it going either way. Oh, well, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you could just make it work on the same screen, honestly, because the idea behind it would be that, the sibling, that it would be in a first person perspective, right?
Yeah.
So you can only see what the sibling who's not blind sees. And then everything you hear is what the sibling who's not deaf hears. So because of that, like you can control one character, control the other, but you can like use the other one to move them around to hear stuff up ahead or to kind of get hints about puzzles in the area and stuff. And just remembering that.
Yeah, this would be wacky in VR.
Oh yeah, VR could be really cool too with it.
Like, yeah, you have like the one who has audio going through his headset and one who's only getting visual through theirs, and you have to like guide each other through. Oh, that's cool. Oh,
yeah, and I was thinking like if it was a single player game, that one thing you could do is have it's like a quality of life feature would probably be the option to approach your blind sibling, hold hands, and then when you walk around in that state, they're both moving around together.
yeah, like that's Eco, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a reference to Eco. That's what they do in that game.
yeah, because like maybe it was Eco I was thinking of because you were describing that, and it's like I swear I could picture it, and I pictured like an almost monochrome black and white kind of thing. So I was probably thinking of Eco.
Oh yeah, Eco is definitely an inspiration for this idea as well. And yeah, if I was really good at developing video games and had a budget to do it, this would probably be the game I'd make.
Oh, well, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just learned something about you.
And like I was thinking that like maybe there could be a part where the siblings get separated, right?
Uh-huh.
So playing as the playing as the deaf sibling, you have to find the blind sibling while using the sound cues to kind of figure out where they are and like where you should be looking.
Huh.
Stuff like that.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so that's a concept I came up with. I was like, oh, that would be such a cool game. But the thing though is, for a game like this, you would really have to execute it correctly and really plan around the systems, or else it could go wonky really fast.
Yeah, probably. But, that's what playtesting and all that stuff is for, just to make sure it works. So,
exactly.
Well, maybe
All
someday
right.
you can make that. That'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be down. All right. Well, what do you got for real and fake on your end?
All right. So this is a mini series. Thor returned to Earth after 3,000 years away from Earth and found that Jane Foster has outlived humanity by uploading her consciousness to the living brain robot, which appears throughout Marvel Comics occasionally. And Thor was able to reset the Earth and reset humanity by going to the Earth's core and smacking it a few times with his hammer.
That is quite the ridiculous concept.
Yeah, but is it too ridiculous?
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna go fake on that one.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct. You have won this round.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, no, I just completely made that one up.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was the idea of him going to the center of like the core. Like, yeah, fair enough, but whacking it with his hammer.
Okay, but like that's not the most ridiculous thing ever I've seen in comics. I'm sure it's not even the most ridiculous thing Thor has done.
So, where did this concept come from then?
So, I guess the only thing that might be similar is that the living brain is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of characters have uploaded their consciousness to robots in comics. Mr. Freeze has done it. Dr. Octopus has done it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where going to the core of the Earth came from. I know there's a Superman book where he goes to the center of the sun and he uses various tools and stuff to keep the sun together. So maybe that subconsciously. I don't know. I was really just making up crap when I came up with that.
Fair enough. Okay. So like living brain, is that an actual thing then?
Yeah. The living brain is an actual thing. If you were to ask me what the big difference between Marvel and DC is, I would tell you that DC is very excited about what science can do, and Marvel is very scared of what science can do. Science oftentimes turns out to be like horrific and detrimental to our heroes in Marvel. And the living brain is one of those. So Peter Parker was chilling at his high school, and this crackpot professor shows up and he says, "Hey everyone, I know it's only 1966, but I invented AI. It's inside this robot that I named the living brain." And everyone's like, "Oh, cool. Well, can it tell us who Spider-Man is?" And they're like, "Sure, feed it information and it will AI calculate who Spider-Man's secret identity is." And Peter Parker's like, "Oh crap. This is technology that's like 60, 70 years ahead of its time." And the robot ends up spitting out the answer, but it's in binary code. And the class opts to give Peter Parker the code so he can decipher it. And he's like, "Crap, I got to go back to school tomorrow with an answer." But the living brain ended up like going nuts and attacking the school. And Peter said that in all the excitement, he ended up losing the paper. But the living brain did appear a few more times in comic book history. The most recent one I can think of, right after the Superior Spider-Man arc, Dr. Octopus's consciousness was uploaded to the living brain, and the living brain just kind of lived in one of the laboratories that Peter Parker owned at the time.
Oh, geez, he owned multiple laboratories?
Oh, buddy. Okay. Yeah, so Superior Spider-Man. Dr. Octopus says, "Well, I'm sick of being old. I'm going to upload my consciousness into Spider-Man's body," and does so and takes over Spider-Man's life for an X amount of time. And he's like,
"Okay,
what the garbage? Peter is a brilliant person. He could have been like super wealthy. He could have been a main competitor to Stark Industries if he wanted. So he started up Parker Industries. And when Peter got his body back, he got his body back along with a multi-billion-dollar company." Or
that's like convenient.
the events might be a little bit out of order in my mind, but that's what I gathered. Peter, because he's not allowed to have nice things, did eventually lose his. He lost his company, and then he became a scientific journalist for the Daily Bugle. And then they found one of the papers he wrote was actually written by Dr. Octopus while he was in Peter's brain. And so he's like, "Oh, well, I can't disprove this because I'll sound like a lunatic. And so they took away his doctorate degree and
Dang.
he went back to just being poor. Like,
Jeez.
you're not allowed to be happy if you're Peter Parker.
Oh, okay.
All right, I believe now it is your turn.
All right. Oh, yeah. As a quick heads up, something funny I did was I took all of these ideas, and after I wrote them out, I put them in a random number generator to determine what order I should put them in. So, yeah.
Oh, that's better than what I did.
What'd you do?
I have them on a piece of paper, and if I feel like lying to your face, I just lie to your face.
Ah, fair enough. That works too. So you're your own random number generator.
I guess so.
All right. Next one. You ready?
Give it to me.
All right. A group of people are forced into lockdown on a spaceship since one of them was infected by an alien. Two people experience time loops and go through different versions of that lockdown.
This is Among Us.
You think it's Among Us?
No. This sounds like a horror stealth game. I don't think it's Alien Isolation. No, I have no idea. But I think it's a real game, so I'm going to say it is true.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You're right. It's a real game.
Hey! Is it Among Us?
No, it's not Among Us, but it is a game in the werewolf kind of style.
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's an indie game called Nosia, spelt Gnosia. So I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I just always called it Nosia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a visual novel, actually.
Ooh.
And the way the visual novel is set up in this game is you have two of the characters, one which you play as in a first-person view, and another character where you're going through different time loops of this experience where one or multiple people are infected by the Nosia. And each night they're, in essence, erasing people from existence. So you're trying to put them into cryosleep each night, trying to figure out who the Nosia are. And they add a bunch of really interesting roles and different things you can play, which is pretty cool. And how it works is not only do you keep playing through this loop and trying to figure out who the different Noja are as you play through, but you also, as you go through different loops and meet different conditions, you experience new events and learn different things about characters. And then, you're just trying to learn everything about every character and going through the different loops to figure that out.
Neat.
Yeah, it's a really cool game. It was an indie game. I forget when it came out, but it was an indie game that came out on the Switch, and I really enjoyed it. And
no,
just
that sounds like a great game, actually. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really cool game. I really enjoyed it.
So that sounds familiar to me. That sounds like not Fatal Frame. Sounds like a video game I heard Nitro Rad talk about.
Mm.
You're
like what aspect of it?
You're on a space station. There's dead ghosts, and you're trying to find their histories and reconcile them so they can move on.
Yeah, that's one of the Echo Knight games.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of reminds me of that because, I imagine throughout the game, you're going to uncover an awful lot of story bits and how everyone is connected to each other and kind of unfold the story as you go along. You did say it was a visual novel. So
yeah.
So, I mean, that's, choose your own adventure kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Something that makes the game really interesting, in my opinion, though, are the different roles you can play as. So obviously you can be a standard crew member, or you can be a Noja and actually see what they eliminate people, which is interesting.
Ooh.
But then they have some of the standard roles you'd expect, like engineer is your leader type character that can detect someone and tell if they're Noja or not. You have the guardian angel who can protect someone overnight. But then they have a couple of unique roles that I think are really cool. So you have the doctor, where after someone dies, they can the next day confirm whether or not that person was human or Noja.
All right.
You have guard duty, which were two people who were on the ship the whole time, so it's impossible for them to be nausea.
Okay.
Th- Then the next two roles are really interesting. So you have the AC follower, who's a human, but they follow the nausea and believe in the nausea, but the nausea don't know who they are.
Okay, so this very much is werewolf.
Yeah. And then the bug is another one that's really interesting, which is if the bug still exists when all the nausea are defeated, then the bug wins and destroys the universe.
Oh, that seems like a much more pressing threat.
Oh yeah. So it's this like interesting balance of like the nausea are trying to win, but they're also trying to figure out who the bug is so the bug doesn't win. And then the humans are trying to take out all the nausea, but they're also trying to make sure they get rid of the bug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty neat. What's your preferred class to play?
Ooh, my preferred to play? I like to play. I'm not sure if I have a preferred class because they're all pretty fun in my opinion. Um, Probably my least favorite to play is AC follower, though. I kind of enjoy the rest, but I wasn't a fan of AC follower where you're trying to help the nausea, but the nausea don't know who you are and you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could have made an adjustment to how it worked, I would allow the nausea to like somehow find out who the AC followers are.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well, because
so
like
that's
the way you described it, it almost sounds like the AC is mostly there just to like elongate the game a little bit.
oh yeah, the AC. That's a good way to phrase it. Is the AC follower is there to just kind of throw people off the trail of the nausea. So I
Yeah.
guess in a standard, like if this was a game that was played in real life with real people, I feel like the AC follower would win if the nausea won. So they would probably just be there to be chaotic and throw people off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
All right, you want to go over yours next?
All right. So here's a little bit of an aside. The Beatles, if you look at the cover for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, actually, can you pull that up right now? The cover to Lonely Hearts
Sure.
Club Band?
I can do
All right.
that.
Yeah. So pull up the cover to Sgt. Pepper's, and I will do the same.
Okay.
Now, have you heard the John is dead rumor? Not John, Paul is dead.
No, I have.
Okay, so the story goes that Paul McCartney was replaced by a body double right before the Beatles stopped touring live and became a studio only band back in I think that was also 66. Okay.
Okay.
I might be wrong on that one. Might be a little bit earlier. But part of and one of the bits of this theory is that on certain covers and certain albums, there are clues that claim that they're hiding that in plain sight, right? One of these clues, if you're looking at the cover, you'll see that on Sgt. Pepper's, you have the Beatles standing in front in the colored coats. Above Paul's head is a palm-facing hand, which in India is an indication of someone who has been deceased or has passed on. And they're standing over what looks like a fresh burial that says the Beatles. They said that this meant that like the Beatles were the ones who died, but underneath the Beatles is Paul McCartney's bass. So, and the yellow flowers, if you see that. So, real or fake? Robin brings all of this information up to Batman, and Batman, being the world's greatest detective, feels like he has to go in there and find out if Paul McCartney actually was replaced by a body double.
That's interesting. From the fact that it's based on something that like people actually theorize, and with Batman being the world's best detective, I'm going to go with real.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you're either really good at this game or I'm not, because you're correct.
Oh, thank you.
So, this story takes place in Batman number 222. And it's basically that there's a band who shows up and they're not the Beatles. And Robin at one point says that not Paul and not the Beatles is acting very strange, as if he's actually not Paul McCartney, which of course he isn't. And so Batman goes on this big old long mystery to try and find like whether or not Paul has been replaced with a body double. And at the end of it, they've revealed that Paul is the only original member of the Beatles left alive, and the other three are body doubles.
Oh, that's great.
And John Lennon tries to attack Paul for revealing this information, and they send John to jail. And then Paul and the other two, they break up the Beatles and they go off together to form Not the Wings, and they continue to perform music.
Interesting.
It is super bonkers. But yeah, if you pull up the cover to Batman number 222, it might be worth it, actually.
Okay.
Batman 222 images. Yeah, if you look at the cover there, Robin is holding up an LP as Batman is looking on to the Beatles. That LP, that is the back cover to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which is another clue to Paul's death, because in the actual album, Paul's back is facing the camera, and people say that's another clue that Paul has been replaced with a body double.
This is so crazy.
This particular issue has been on my search list for a while. I want to get this book.
But Taylor, it's only 15 cents.
Well, the eBay one I'm looking at right now is actually $169. So,
well, maybe the price label on the comic is a bit outdated then.
maybe a little bit. Gosh, when would this have been released? Sometime in the early 70s, I think. Because like the Beatles would have had to stay relevant, and this whole controversy really wasn't brought up until near the end of the Beatles' career anyway.
Okay. There's something menacing about them walking towards Batman and Robin after leaving the Yellow Submarine.
God.
Crap, here they come.
Here they come. One of them is dead, but which one? The clue is on their album cover, Batman. All right. Your turn.
It blows my mind. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What blows my mind is this isn't even like a spin-off, but like a mainline Batman comic.
Mainline Batman book. If you were to collect every Batman book, you would have to read Batman versus the Beatles.
That's insane.
And like, they're definitely the Beatles. In the book, they have slightly different names, like very slightly different names, and they're not called the Beatles, but you see the cover.
Yeah.
It's the Beatles.
Exactly. All right. So next one, you ready?
Yes.
All right. A young woman is transported to a world through a magic crystal. Because of her knowledge of pop culture, she's hailed as a genius for predicting tropes. So she must go with the generic hero to save the world.
If this is fake, I'm going to be really sad.
Why is that?
This sounds like the best game ever. I'm going to keep hope alive and say that it's real.
Final answer?
Yeah.
This game's fake, but could be real potentially.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. It's just like you're not the main character. You're just stuck at their party and you're like following them around and you're just predicting all of the anime tropes that'll happen in this JRPG.
Yeah, so explanation for this one. It's not real, but I was when I used to screw around and mess with RPG Maker, this was the story I was doing.
Oh, so it is real.
So I theoretically could make it real if I wanted to, if I kept working on it, but it's been a long time since I've worked on it. I don't know, maybe I should get back into it at some point.
Well, theoretically, every one of these fake things we bring up could be real at some point if we just wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
make it.
that's very true. So as of now, it's fake to our knowledge.
Uh, that sounds
Yeah, so
great, though. Where'd you come up
yeah,
with this?
I was just thinking, okay, if I'm trying out this system RPG Maker, which by the way, it's not the best system ever, but I was having fun with it, got the system on sale, so I was like, yeah, why not, you know?
Yeah.
And the concept, I was like, I should come up with a more fun, easy-go-lucky, funny kind of idea. That way, I don't have to take it too seriously or worry about crazy plot points, and instead can just focus on learning the system and having fun with designing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of the concept I came up with, and yeah, I came up with some wacky, fun characters. Like there'd be one party member you get where he only talks through emoticons.
Oh boy.
So like instead of like actually like importance, he just like sends smiley faces or angry faces and stuff. And at the end of the game, it would be revealed that this whole time, like while you're going through this adventure trying to, you know, save the world, by the end of it, you find out that this character that's been talking through emojis, the whole time he thought you were just running an errand to drop off some apples at someone's house.
You know,
Like he didn't realize switch by, huh?
that's the fan favorite character right there. That's the one everyone's going to keep in their party forever.
Exactly. So yeah, that would be the idea behind him. Though, is he's just like, oh wait, like it's like, oh yeah, this character said that he thought we were just delivering apples this whole time. He didn't realize we were saving the world.
It's like, hold on. Why am I fighting a god? Why is this harder than it should be?
Yeah, this is quite the long journey. And yeah, you'd find that out like after you beat the game, and like they're all being like rewarded and stuff by the king of the land, and he's just like, wait, what?
It's like, so are we going to deliver the stuff, or are we ever going to get to that?
I'm just doing my job.
I mean, I get paid by the hour for the delivery, so knock yourself out.
Yeah, and like I had some pretty fun concepts where like there's one point where the main hero of the story is with that emoticon character, is trying to get to the castle before it gets attacked, while the while the girl that's been like transported there, she's with a guard of the castle at the time, whose name is Guard, by the way. And they're like trying to explore and get things, and he's all like, oh, we have to at one point it's all like, oh, we gotta get into the party to see what happens. And it's like, look, when we get to that party, what's gonna happen is the princess is gonna get kidnapped. We're gonna have to go save her. So instead, we're gonna stick by the princess the whole time and protect her, okay? They're like, oh, okay. So then they go to the front door, and it's all like, oh, sorry, I'd let you go into the castle, but you need an invite. And then the guys all like, the guards are like, oh, I know what we can do. We can travel through the underground sewer system to get into the place. And then the girl's just like, or we can just let them know, hey, I'm supposed to be one of the people that helps the heroes, and it'll just let us in. The guard's like, oh, that makes sense. So they do that, and then they get in. Then it swaps to the main hero and the emoji sidekick, right?
Uh-huh.
And then what'll happen with them is they approach, and it's all like, oh, we want to go in here. Oh, sorry, you can't go in because you don't have an invite. Oh, dang it. And then they have to you have to play as them going through the sewer dungeon to get it.
Okay. I want to add a contribution. I want to give you a contribution. Okay.
Ooh, give it to me.
The emoticon guy, when you bring him into your party, he has like a basket of like 10 apples in his inventory. And these are healing items. And you can eat them. And you get a different ending based on whether or not you've eaten all his apples
Holy
that he was
crap.
hoping to deliver.
That would be hilarious.
So if you don't eat any, he's like, well, I mean, I was trying to deliver these, so I guess I'll just go do that now. And if you eat them all, then he gets like a sad ending where he gets like fired from his delivery job or something for eating all of the produce.
That's just like a little random side bonus to the ending about the emoticon guy.
Yeah,
I'm
like it doesn't affect a whole lot, but it's like a thing. If you eat his
That'd be
apples,
funny.
which are a healing item, so there is incentive to do so, you could mess up this guy's life.
Okay, I love that idea. Yeah, if this ever happens, that's going to be it. Bam, and there you go. Those could be the two different. Those could be two Steam achievements right there.
You threw the game without eating any of the healing items.
Beat the game without eating any apples. Beat the game while eating every apple.
It's like, crap. I already got the one achievement, and right before the final boss, you just chow down 10 apples. And if you eat them all at once, you get a special dialogue box from Emoticon Guy where he like just flips out on you in the moment. And that's like your first hint that's like something could happen later if you did it. But anyway, there you go. There's my contribution. You can have that one for free.
Sweet, thanks. All right, yeah. So that was just a fun little game concept I came up with while using the system because I was just like, oh, okay, this could be fun to mess around with.
No, that sounds fantastic.
All right, so your turn.
Okay, so Jimmy Olsen gets a magical staff from an archaeologist, and this magical staff grants him 3 wishes. And he chooses to use his first wish to manifest Superman's waifu as a real person.
What?
Is it real or fake?
When does waifu just be Lois Lane?
Is it real or fake? Answer the question. You don't get clarifying questions.
You know what? Fair. I'm gonna go with fake final answer.
Well, that would be wrong because this is a real comic book that was made by a real person and drawn by more real people.
Nice.
And read by even more real people.
So wait, was his waifu just Lois Lane or what?
Okay. So, first off, this was in Superman issue 123. So for the fun number 123, they decided that this was the story they were going to go with. Now,
okay.
It's been suggested throughout a lot of Superman stories at this time, and that Superman actually really doesn't like Lois Lane all that much.
Okay.
Like him and Lois Lane having an actual real romance, dare I say, isn't really a thing that happened up until like the late 80s, maybe the early 90s was when they decided that was an actual established thing. Like they dabbled in it occasionally, but it was never treated seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Lois was also just kind of a terrible, mean person to Clark the whole time. So I was like, Clark would never be for that. They do, however, hint more than a couple of times that if that version of Superman were to get a girlfriend, it would be another superhero.
Okay.
And so the beginning of the story is, oh, golly. So the beginning of this story, Superman saves Jimmy and Lois from a crashing helicopter, I think it is. And Lois says something like, oh, Superman, you're so great. If only you would let me marry you. And Superman's like, I don't have time for you, like, at all, Lois. So please stop making uncomfortable advances to me, because that's all you've been doing for the past 10 years in comic books. And Jimmy says, golly gee, Superman, it's so great of you to save us. Tell you what, if I ever get a wish, I will wish for a girl for you that would be all superpowered and stuff. And Superman's like, well, thanks, Jimmy. And because we love coincidence, later Jimmy does get a magic staff that comes with 3 wishes. Because Superman strong-armed an archaeologist into giving it to him.
He's like, listen.
No, like for real. Like Jimmy and Superman save this archaeologist, and the archaeologist is like, how can I ever repay you? And instead of saying no repayment is necessary, or saying you just pass along the good deed, he says, well, if you can give a priceless artifact to Jimmy Olsen, we'll call it even. Like, what?
He's just like, listen, man.
And so Jimmy gets the staff and remembers, oh, wait, I promised that if I ever got wishes, I would wish for the perfect girl for Superman. And so he does. And the next day manifests, she calls herself Supergirl, but it's not the same Supergirl that is his cousin. It's not like the classic Supergirl. This actually predates that story by a little bit. And this Supergirl shows up and says, hi, Superman, I'm your new magical girlfriend that you could only dream about. And he's like, oh, well, neat. And then they do like superhero stuff together, but she keeps getting in the way. So he's like, look, I just need some alone time to hang out with the guys. And she says, oh, okay. So sad. And then she, like some random thugs, like literally just some super random thugs show up. And they have this huge chunk of kryptonite that they throw at Superman. And then Supergirl shows up, picks it up, and says, don't worry, my true love. I'm immune to kryptonite because I'm magical. And then she goes back to Jimmy's house after it implies that she crawled several city blocks to get to Jimmy Olsen's house at this point. And she reveals that she actually is weak to kryptonite. She's about to die and asks Jimmy to undo his wish rather than have her die, which feels like accomplishes the same thing. But that's the story. And then there's like two more, and I don't know what the other two wishes are because like they're not going to beat that. Yeah.
My God. Let's see. Like, I just love the idea of like Superman kind of being an insult and being like, look, I need you to get me the perfect girlfriend.
No, it's like it's a thing. Like, Superman was kind of a jerk, like for a good chunk of not most of his history, honestly. Like, you look at some of those Silver Age stories, which this, of course, is one. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, this is just, everyone is mean to each other. Lois Lane is a huge pain in the butt. Why is Jimmy here? We don't know, but he is, and he's popular enough to stay. But
yeah, out of curiosity, I'm looking up instances of Superman being a jerk. And the number one was apparently there was a front cover. Apparently it was Armageddon 2001, The Adventures of Superman. And it said and he's sitting on top of Lois Lane's grave making out with a girl.
Yeah, comic book covers were the original clickbait. That doesn't happen in that book.
Oh, okay. So a lot of them were just clickbait. Gotcha.
Well, it sort of happens in that book, but it's not nearly as callous as it looks.
Okay. And another one, it shows Lois Lane. She's like, Superman snapped my air hose because I won't marry him. He's committing the perfect murder. I'm looking at this on ranker.com, by the way. So
I believe gosh.
Downvoted by people based on what they think is. Oh, speaking of Jimmy Olsen, there's one where Jimmy Olsen and Aquaman are crawling towards Superman.
Oh, yeah, he's like holding back water from them or something.
That's hilarious. And Jimmy goes, Superman, stop this crazy chest. Let us share that water or we die. And then Superman just says, sorry, Jimmy, the ground rules allow only one survivor. You are Aquaman. He has a big smile on his face. Like, what a jerk.
Comic books are weird, man. I don't know what to tell you.
My gosh.
And yeah, Superman has been a jerk in a lot of them. Even when he's trying to do the right thing, sometimes he kind of comes off as a jerk. I think it is your turn now.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. You ready?
Yeah.
After a group of alien cubes. Okay, wait. Oh, yeah. After a group of alien cubes invade the world of chickens, they kidnap all the chicks, leaving one chicken to save them all and stop the alien cubes.
Okay. I know this one is real because I know this one is Mort the chicken.
Oh, frick. Dang it.
Yes.
How do you know more than chicken?
Because I had a really, really good friend once. His name is Garrett Garcia. And he's all like, I'm looking for a bunch of PlayStation games. And one of the ones I'm looking for is Mort the chicken. I'm like, what's Mort the chicken? And he's all like, well, Mort the chicken is this game where you play as a chicken. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I had another friend who said I should check out the YouTube channel Nitro Rat. And
Dang
he had
it.
a video.
I didn't realize I'd done that.
He had a video about Mort the chicken. So I know Mort the chicken. So I win.
Nice. Yeah, Mort the Chicken is very much a thing. It was a video game my parents bought me when I was a little kid, and I played the heck out of it. You want to know why?
Because it was the only game you ever had?
No, it wasn't the only game I ever had, but we didn't have a memory card when we first got a PlayStation. And Mort the Chicken was the only video game I could beat without a memory card.
Because it's not very good.
Because it's really short and not very good, but in my kid brain, it was good.
Yeah, well, there you go. Anyway, so that's the basic premise of Mort the Chicken. You have anything else you want to bring up about Mort the Chicken? Why is his name Mort? Why is he a chicken? What do you get from finding all the chickens?
It's just such an out there game. It's like, why does this exist type deal? Because it's not based on anything, you know?
Yeah, it's just a thing.
The creators were just like, yeah, this is something we want to do. Let me check something actually. According to Wikipedia, the developer was a company called And Now, but the game was published by Crave Entertainment and Ubisoft.
So
that's interesting.
That's a couple of big names.
So I guess they were involved with this.
Well,
which is kind of hilarious.
All right. And you got a copy of Mort the Chicken, I assume.
Yeah, I own a copy.
All right. So after revisiting it since being a kid, what do you really think of it now?
The game's not good at all. It has very wonky controls, but I'll always have a special place in my heart.
Okay, I can respect that.
And as a person that I enjoy playing bad games, so I have fun when I play Mort the Chicken on occasion. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I want to play some Mort the Chicken. And there's something I still do to this day that I used to do as a kid. Is every time I would want to play Mort the Chicken and I put in the PlayStation and flip the lid, put it in, put it down, play the console. As I was grabbing the game and putting it in and waiting for the game to start, I would go, Mort the Chicken, 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 Mort the Chicken, 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 chicken. And I do that every time I played.
Yes, okay, but why?
I don't know. It's just what I did. So because of that, to this day, whenever I'm putting in Mort the Chicken, I do that.
Oh, what does your wife think of that?
She thinks it's hilarious.
Oh, I bet she does.
Then again, she's only ever seen me play Mort the Chicken once, so there's that.
And that's enough.
I've been thinking about revisiting Mort the Chicken and trying to 100% it. Because why not?
Because it's not good.
So, Rugrats The Search for Reptar is not good, and I play that.
I know. You made me play it. You know who was having a whole lot of fun during that game?
You.
No, I was not. I was having no fun. I didn't want to play Reptar.
Wow,
I got lost on that stupid level where not Mothma is like chasing me. And I'm just like, now I got to find the stupid batteries to power up Reptar, but I can't find them. And there's a stupid thing chasing me. And everyone in the room is laughing and having a great time except me.
Sorry. To be fair, the game did warn you it was a hard level.
It's a stupid Rugrats game.
You weren't taking the hard label seriously?
No. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy Martha Chicken and stuff, because like sometimes you do need to, play a bad game or watch a bad movie or something like that.
Exactly. Something that just isn't going to make you think, and you can just have fun with how dumb it is.
Yeah. And plus I have like this big prevailing theory that bad games are okay if you're in the company of specific people and it's a multiplayer game.
Yeah, or it's single player and you're handing it off, and there's the understanding to everyone. This is a bad game. And
no, because like I understood Reptar wasn't a good game, and I enjoy all the people I played that game with, but I still did not have fun. I think it has to be multiplayer.
The rest of us had fun.
I bet you did, watching me suffer.
No, and also taking turns playing.
Well. Sometimes I eat McDonald's because it's tasty and it's not good for me.
I had McDonald's last night.
I could go for some McD's, probably pick up some before I go to work.
All right. Well, shall you go next?
Yeah, that's the established pattern of things. So, Dr. Octopus has invented a ray that converts muscle mass into fat and vice versa. And he shoots Spider-Man and himself with it. Now, Spider-Man has so much fat stored on him that he can't make it to the other side of town in order to make his date with Gwen Stacy. And Dr. Octopus has given himself the body of a supermodel, and he's on his way to Peter's house to try and woo Aunt May.
Okay. I'm gonna guess fake.
Why?
I don't know. Just I feel like well, I don't see a reason Dr. Octopus would wanna flirt with Aunt May, but maybe that's just me not knowing enough about comics. And I don't know. I feel like it may be kind of hard for them to do a whole story built around the idea of Peter being fat and trying to like get around and like trying to make him undo it and stuff. So but that could just me being not knowledgeable comics, but I'm gonna lock in the answer fake.
This story is fake. It's fake.
Okay. When you were about to say real, I was like, no way.
All right. So the inspiration behind this monstrosity of a thing is I was talking about the difference in Marvel and DC being science. Another big difference is how serious they took themselves in the 60s and 50s. Mm-hmm. DC did not. And you get crazy stories like Jimmy Olsen manifesting Superman's waifu. Like it's ridiculous. And someone made a fan art of what if Marvel went in that direction, and they made a mock-up cover of a Spider-Man issue where he had gained so much weight that he couldn't web swing anymore, because that was not out of the realm of possibility for DC. Like I think a couple of Flash comics actually did that. And as far as Dr. Octopus and Aunt May, they almost got married.
Oh, okay.
A couple of times, I think.
Oh, snap.
So in the first annual, which was like, a big yearly special that they would release in various successful books. So like if you didn't get the monthly title, you could pick up the annual. And the annual, the Sinister Six was formed by Dr. Octopus, and to get Spider-Man to cooperate, they kidnapped Betty Brant, his girlfriend at the time, and Aunt May. And Aunt May was immediately charmed with how polite and kind Dr. Octopus was.
Okay.
And eventually the two ended up like dating for a while. They almost got married. Even today in some of the comics, you can still see like that kind of attraction between the two of them. Someone pointed out in Into the Spider-Verse, Olivia Octavia said that her friends and close associates call her Liv. And later on, we hear Aunt May referred to her as Liv.
Oh.
So it's like Dr. Octopus and Aunt May have like a history together. Like they're at least friendly, if not more so, in most iterations.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's where the story comes from. A piece of fan art making fun of DC and lore.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
My gosh, that's such a crazy concept.
Mm-hmm. But not outside the realm of possibility, which is what's scary about it.
Gotcha.
Comic books are so dumb.
Oh, no worries. Both comic books and video games can be dumb. It just depends.
All right. I think we can get through your next one. So give me the next one.
All right. Real or fake? After a boy is chased through the streets by crazed clowns, he goes through the sewers to meet a girl from the future, and they must time travel to defeat a bunny from the moon.
Hold on. I need to unpack this for a second. So there's a bunny from the moon.
Mm-hmm.
He meets the girl of his dreams in a sewer. Okay. I could see Japan coming up with this. I could see them putting it on a Super Nintendo. No, this is on a Sega system. This is a game that lives on the Dreamcast, and it is a real game that lives on the Dreamcast.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, it is a real game.
Yeah.
However, it is not on the Dreamcast.
Is it on a Sega system?
Nope.
Okay, is it a PlayStation?
Yeah, it's a PlayStation system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm. The name of the game is Dark Cloud 2, also known as Dark Chronicle in other regions of the world.
Oh, what kind of game is this?
It is a dungeon crawler JRPG with action elements in it. So instead of like turn-based combat or anything, you actually fight the enemies in real time as you crawl through the dungeon floors. And to clarify, he goes through the sewers and meets her outside of the sewers, not in the sewers.
Oh, okay. Well, outside the sewer, in the sewer, doesn't matter.
But yeah, the name of the boy's name is Max, and he's actually, let me double check the name of this voice actor.
Nolan and Everything North.
No.
He's voiced by Tara Strong.
No. Oh yeah, okay. You ready?
Yeah.
So the name of the character is Max, short for Maximilian, and he's voiced by Scott Menville.
What does Scott Menville do?
You will know him best, knowing you will know him best as his role as Robin in Teen Titans.
Oh! Okay.
Yeah.
Neat. And so, what's the bunny?
Oh yeah. So straight up, the name of the bunny, his name is Griffin, and yeah, he came. The race of bunnies in that game come from the moon. That's their home planet, and he traveled from the moon to the Earth, and he plans on destroying it. So he needs to work with the girl from the future. Her name's Monica to stop the bunny, but they don't know he's when they first start.
Future girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the whole thing about the beginning is this boy named Max. He was given a magical stone known as an Adlamilia by his father, and the Adlamilia allows him to travel to the future, while the girl Monica has a Adlamilia as well that allows her to travel to the past. So they work together to go back and forth between the future and the past, and it's got some cool elements in it. Like there's a city building element where you go to different regions and you have to rebuild the towns, and what you build and place there affects things in the future.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really fun series I enjoy, and
It's
I've
a
been wanting.
series.
Yeah, it's the second game, Dark Cloud 2.
Oh, derp.
But I've never actually. I've been wanting Dark Cloud 3 to happen, but I don't know if it'll ever happen at this point.
Uh, well, I don't know. Some games started getting a resurgence. So
You never know.
you never know. You never know. If KO the Kangaroo can come back, I'm convinced almost anything can.
True. So yeah, the crazy clowns that were chasing him, they are followers of Griffin.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least all the bad guys are on the same team.
Yep. Anyway, shall we do your last one?
All right, my last one. Frog people from space kidnap Bruce Banner because he is the smartest person on Earth, and they're going to force him into slavery on their home planet.
Ew. That sounds like a more serious storyline, and I could see Marvel doing something like that, especially with Bruce Banner. So I'm gonna go with real.
This is the story from The Incredible Hulk #2.
Ooh, okay. Oh, so like a really early story then, huh?
Yeah, like this is almost as early as it gets.
Dang. Cool.
Yeah, okay, so golly, the Toadman.
The Toadman?
That is the name of the species. Actually, they're called the Tribitites is what they're actually called, but they're the Toadman.
Okay.
Let's see. Just a second here. I had like all my notes, but I lost them.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay, yeah. So the early Hulk issues are not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like just quality wise, they're just not very well made. People can go ahead and fight me on that. I don't care. They're not good. So like there's a lot of random stuff that happens in this book. It starts with like a real monster thing where he's like in a swamp where the Hulk is stomping through a swamp and like the sheriff is trying to evacuate people and it's big and scary and it's like a real thing. And then a ship of Toadmen lands and their mind detector points out Bruce Banner as the most significant scientific mind. And they want to take him so they can like gauge how far humanity has come in preparation for their upcoming invasion. And so they kidnap Bruce Banner. And Bruce Banner's like, please don't kidnap me. If you kidnap me, then I will be alone in space. And when it becomes nighttime in this iteration, he turns into the Hulk. That's how they did it originally. And
okay.
You know, he's up in space where night doesn't really exist. It's not really a thing. And he's looking at Earth and he sees that America is going towards the dark side. And he's like, oh no, it's going to become nighttime. I'm going to turn into the Hulk in space where day night cycle doesn't mean anything. And then he turns into the Hulk and he busts up the ship and the ship crashes.
How's logic?
Let's see. I'm trying to. How did the Toadmen eventually get caught? Oh, yeah. So the Toadmen end up shooting a flare into space and they're picked up by the other Toadmen and they're like, yeah, don't invade Earth. They have a big green monster. And that's it. Oh, wait, no, that is not it. Sorry, there is this whole other element. I should have brought this up. Okay. This would have tripped you up. The Toad King says, well, we'll just destroy the Earth then. And they use a bunch of magnetic rays on the moon to push it towards Earth and mess up all the tides and eventually blow up the Earth with the moon.
What?
And
holy crap.
The Hulk says, nah, I don't think so. And busts up the ship and then gets back down to Earth. And as Bruce Banner uses an anti-magnet gun to push the moon back into its proper position.
My gosh.
If I brought up that, I would have tripped you up.
Maybe yeah, most likely. Fair.
Maybe not. But that is the Hulk #2. It isn't good. The Hulk was canceled after 6 issues, if that kind of puts it into perspective, like how good it actually was.
6?
6. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby sat down and made 6 issues of The Incredible Hulk, and it sucked. And so they put him into a different book as a backup feature, and then he showed up sometimes in the Avengers.
Dang.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people will praise like early Marvel frankly, guys, early Marvel didn't really know what they were doing most of the time. Like they were throwing a lot of stuff at the wall, and sometimes it would stick, and sometimes it really wouldn't. And sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
would, but like way later. Like X-Men really picked up in the 80s, but not so much in the 60s when it was invented.
Okay, that's really interesting then, because that's something we could definitely talk about in the future is like early designs for comics and games versus later designs,
Ooh,
because I feel like that's an interesting topic that could be discussed since I feel like earlier games used to be way more experimental, but then as time's gone on, games have become more formulaic.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. That would be fun. Let's throw that on the list.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Anyways, that
Go
was a
ahead.
fun little segment. I had a lot of fun with that.
That was fun. That was a fun game. Thank you for suggesting the topic and the episode. That was great.
Yeah, you can thank the Anime Man slash PewDiePie because I would have never came up with that if it wasn't for them.
So, which one of us is PewDiePie and which one of us is the anime man?
Oh, that's kind of hard to answer because they were talking about the same topic while we were tackling different topics.
Oh,
Then again, actually, the Anime Man was talking about anime. Well, PewDiePie, even though he was talking about anime, he has a lot of experience with video games. So with that in mind, I guess I'm PewDiePie and you're the Anime Man.
cool. Well, congratulations on being the number one YouTuber for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and then Mr. Beast showed up slash T series.
Yeah, well, I think T Series, Mr. Beast is bigger than T Series now, is he?
Is he? I don't
I
know.
have
I haven't checked in a long time. I can check real quick. Why
I
not?
have no idea.
Let's
I
find out.
I know T Series did pass him up at one point, and it was like a big deal, but I think he came back up.
All right, T series is at 242 million. Mr. Beast is at 153 million. So T series is definitely ahead.
Ah, I don't think I've ever seen a T Series video though. That's the thing. I don't even know what T Series is.
Oh, T series is a company located in India, and from what I've heard, most of their videos is just like posting like music videos and stuff. Don't take that though as a general idea because that's only what I've heard about them, so I don't know too much.
Okay. Well, anyway, now that we've devolved into something completely unrelated,
Yeah,
yeah, that was
thank you.
lots of
Hmm?
fun.
Yeah.
I would be down to try this again at some point.
Oh yeah. I say we do this another time. This could be a lot of fun to do again because it's a easy enough concept that we can rack our brains for more ideas and present them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have no shortage of crazy comic book ideas.
Oh, trust me, I have no shortage of crazy games I've played.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. All right.
All right.
So
Well, thank y'all for joining us on this episode of GC Squared. We're happy to have you guys here, and thank you for listening.
it's always a pleasure to have you guys here. And before we leave, Garrett, do you have any wise words of wisdom?
Sure, but real quick, sorry for cutting you off earlier. My bad.
Oh, it's okay. It's fine.
I felt bad, so I figured I would take the words of wise wisdom this time.
Oh, you just let me have the W, huh?
Well, I felt bad that I accidentally cut you off.
Oh, well, give me your wise words of wisdom already, dang it.
Okay. Oh shoot. Now I have to think of some.
This is the wisdom that will sustain me for the entire rest of the week. And not just me, but like all of our thousands and thousands of listeners.
Oh yes, our thousands and thousands of listeners. Let's see.
We joke. This is the episode that blows up.
Could you imagine? That'd be all. I'd say sometimes we see these outlandish concepts for games and video games, and sometimes you may come up with an unconventional concept or idea on how to approach a situation. So I say, don't be afraid to try it. Sometimes it may work out really well, but other times it may not work out that great. You just never know until you try. So, if a different idea comes around and it's a good one that you feel won't hurt anything and it'll lead to potentially good results, give it a shot.
And I'll go ahead and add on to that. in my screenwriting class, my professor made sure to let us all know that one of his favorite movies is a movie about a group of rock stars who are also ninjas, and it's really, really bad. And he said if something like that, or heaven forbid, something like Sharknado 2, the fact that Sharknado would get a sequel, if those ideas can go somewhere, then your idea probably can too.
That's a really good point, actually.
All right.
He's sitting there like, listen. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Keep cutting me off. That's fine.
My bad.
No, it's all chill. It's all chill.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's the nature of voice calls, huh?
Yeah, maybe someday we'll get good at this.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Here, teachers just like, listen. If something as horrible as Sharknado can exist, your story can exist too, and you won't make anything worse than that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. The worst idea has already been made. You might as well just go forward with what you came up with.
Exactly. And who knows, it may be a way better idea than you initially expected.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, very wise words. So I think that's where we're going to cut it off for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
We should come up with like a sing-along song for the end of this. Maybe not.
Not this time. Maybe in the future.
Do you remember Bear in the Big Blue House?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had that goodbye song. Goodbye, goodbye, my friends, goodbye.
I don't remember that one, but I do remember the goodbye song from Out of the Box.
Oh, I love Out of the Box. Oh, I haven't thought of that in a long time. Oh, Out of the Box was great. We're devolving and we already said goodbye. I'm going to hang up now. Bye.
All right, bye.
You have listened to another episode of GC Squared, our podcast that, we put a lot of work into. So we're very thankful that you stuck around for it.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to another episode. We hope to hear from you guys next time, and we'd also like to leave you with a little invitation as well.
So we set up an email, and you can go ahead and email us, tell us some thoughts you had about the show, some suggestions, and maybe you'll even see your email read on the air. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, if you give us a suggestion, we do it. We'll, of course, give you credit. And in the email, you can also mention how you want us to refer to you. So, like, if you want us to just call you by your first name, or if you maybe want us to refer to you by a certain online tag you use, whatever works,
So if you want to email us and chat with us, and we'll be more than happy to chat back with you, go ahead and email us at gcsquaredpodcast@gmail.com. That's GCSQUARED podcast@gmail.com.
We look forward to hearing from you guys, and like we said, just feel free to send us a message. And yeah, we're always happy to hear different topic suggestions, because this podcast isn't just about us talking and having fun, but it's also about discussing things that other people want to hear.
Well said, well said. Thanks again, and we look forward to hearing from you.
All right, thank you, and we'll see you next time.